I was living with my now mother-in-law in a house she had just purchased a few months before. We had all had various weird feelings or experiences in the house, but two really stick out. Collectively, there were three dogs living in the house at the time. One evening, we are all sitting with our backs to the hallway. This is significant. Watching a movie. All of a sudden, my German Shepherd and my Terrier both perk up their ears and start staring down the hallway behind where we are sitting. I'm in full attention. I notice and turn around. The light in the hall was off. It was dark, but of course don't see anything. 5 minutes later, they're still staring and now growling. This time my wife and I turn around and we both watch as the light switch on the wall gets flipped to on. Dogs went crazy and so did we. A few weeks later, same scenario. Light is off and we are watching a movie. My German Shepherd loved to play fetch and we always had a million balls around to entertain her. This time, she's staring down the hallway and wagging her damn tail. This time we all notice again and start to watch. I swear to God, a single orange tennis ball came rolling down the hallway towards her. We all went white. There were a few others, but Jesus, I hated that hallway. It never felt like a bad energy, but my feeble little brain was still scared nonetheless. My mom-in-law has having these dreams a few weeks after moving in about the house catching on fire and burning to the ground with us all inside. Horrible. About 3 weeks after these dreams, we woke up one morning and distinctly smelled smoke coming from the house somewhere. Panicked, we all started searching and eventually came to the garage. On a rafter, we noticed the smoke coming out from around a fluorescent light fixture. At that moment I realized, my God, it's attached directly to this old, dried out beam. The light was left on all night and it was clearly burning the rafter ever so slightly. Lights are not supposed to be screwed onto a rafter like that. So we like to think our ghost hosts were looking out for all of us. After that, her dreams stopped. Thanks God it stopped. I was driving to pick up my friend from the airport around 10 at night. His girlfriend was also with me as she wanted to see him as soon as possible. We were going down some dark, super lonely back roads. I've never been that way before, but I was following good old Apple Maps. Eventually, we came up alongside a train that was matched with our speed, so we couldn't see out past it on the right side of the car. After a couple minutes of that, we came upon a train yard on our left. A very spooky, very generic horror movie train yard. Nothing crazy yet, except for the fact that it went on and on and on. We probably spent 10 minutes driving at 45 miles an hour down a dark back road, with a train yard on our left and a train on our right blocking the view. Eventually, we made it back into society and picked up my friend from the airport. We told him all about the spooky train yard and train and were excited to drive back and show him just how much it was like a generic horror film. We drove back down the same roads. It wasn't there. We never passed the train yard. There were no trains on the tracks. Now on our left. Friend's girlfriend and I flipped out. We swore up and down. We drove right along the train yard for a long time. The drive home felt so much shorter. I hope this will never happen again. I live with my grandparents and my parents live in an RV parked in the yard. One night I was leaving the RV to go to the house and I heard the strangest noise I had ever heard. I'll do my best to describe it. It was like a deep wheeze, so at first I actually thought it was my dad having a coughing fit. He's a heavy smoker, so I called out to him with no response. The best I can describe it is like a pig's squeal overlapped by the sound of an ape roaring or a goat screaming out in pain, with a deep wheeze to the sound. I just stood frozen for a second before I started to feel uneasy as hell. Mind you, it was pitch black outside, so I couldn't see a thing. I called out for my dad one more time without moving from my spot. When I got no response again, I turned around and ran back into the RV. My mom and brother were directly inside, and I guess they could see the horror on my face because they immediately started asking what was wrong. It all happened so quickly, but I was suddenly shaking and pale. First thing I did ask where Dad was, the answer to which was in the black sleeping. My family is not crazy religious, but we are all Christian, and my mom insisted only a demon could make a sound like that. I had her walk me back to the house that night and every night after for about a month. It left me afraid to go outside at night for quite some time. The strangest thing to me was all I did was hear a loud noise, yet it filled me with so much fear for so long. I spent ages researching different animals and the sounds they make, obviously focusing on animals that frequent my area. I live in South Florida, and have found nothing close to the sound I heard. Thought someone here might have some ideas. This is a story that happened to me 18 years ago. When I was 7 years old, I lived on a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. Both my parents worked in the mornings and the school year has just ended, so I was home alone. From the kitchen window I saw something strange in the trees. A creature of sorts. Two things I know. This wasn't a little kid. I know what it looked like. This creature was about the size of a smart car and sitting about 15 feet up in the tree, and had the proportions similar to a gargoyle in both shape and posture. You know how gargoyles sit hunched over with three back legs wider and their front arms or legs close together or touching, minus the wings. No skin was shown. The creature had short beard like fur mixed with all like feathers. The head was massive with shape of a bear head and possibly a large beak. I don't know many features of the face because I was so fixated on the eyes of this beast. They were huge eyes, the size of basketballs. And the odd thing was that they were blurry looking, like a droopy oil painting. It was early summer morning, early enough to still be cool, but late enough to be clearly lit everywhere. I saw the creature out the kitchen window, run out onto the front porch, got a better look at it. I wasn't about to go and check it out just yet and was about 50 yards out. So I went in to grab my father's binoculars. When I got back to the front porch, the creature was gone, nowhere to be seen. So me, being a brave 7-year-old boy, went out to inspect the area I saw it. Upon arrival, I saw nothing, no broken branches or marking or anything. The one thing I remember about the area that was different was that it was dead silent in a forest normally bursting with noise. And there was not a single thing to be heard. And I mean that forest where I used to live was super loud too, with all sorts of animals making sounds at all times of the day. Super weird. Anyway, I've never heard of any sort of cryptid that matches what I saw that day, and for 18 years I've been insanely curious. If anyone could lead me in the right direction of what sort of folklore, creature, cryptid thing I saw that day, please let me know.
Sounds